Hi guys, this is Tucker. I just want to do a quick walkthrough of our S2E5 workshop. We're going to be doing some introductory machine learning work with some World Cup data ahead of the World Cup starting next week. And this one really doesn't require a walkthrough, but I just want to record a quick video anyway, to show you how to, get everything open and running. I guess more so for the people that aren't going to be able to make the meeting. So in the email that I sent out, there is an S2E5 zip file. If you double click that, a folder S2E5 should pop up in your downloads. So if you double click that, you should be able to have access to this S2E5.r file. So if we go ahead and open this, you should have your RStudio pop up. Should put this over here. Okay, so, and again, this isn't super necessary to do the walkthrough, but I figured I'd do it anyway. Again, this lab aims to introduce to some of the basic statistical and machine learning algorithms using World Cup data. We will be looking at the United States, and they're in Group B. Trying to predict the win probability of each match. So how the World Cup works, there's 4 teams in each group. The top 2 teams advance out of the group into the knockout stages. We're just pretty much looking at the United States in the games within their group and trying to predict the win probability. Again, we can modify this so that it's working with other groups, and even we could add things where it's predicting win probability of knockout stage games, but that'd be a little bit more work. So all we're doing here, we're first loading in these packages, then we're reading in the data, and you'll see everything registered down here. Then we're just fixing one of the columns. The date columns is technically listed as a string, so we're just converting it to date, just so it's easier to work with. Then we're filtering the data to just the World Cup, to just the Group B teams, which the teams in USA's group is obviously them, the United States, England, Wales, and Iran. And Iran is listed like this in the data set that we downloaded. So we'll run that. It's going to filter it down. We call that Group B ranking. Filters it. Again, you can just see all the US, England, Wales, Iran games. And that's all their games from 1993 onwards. I forgot to mention, this is all international matches in the World Cup, or if they're just friendly matches or other international tournaments. Of all countries from 1993 onward. So this will take all the games that involve the U.S., England, Wales, and Iran, and it'll look at all the games they've played since 93. And that's going to be used as our training data. So that's what we're feeding into the model. So it has the training data is all the things like how high they're ranked in the FIFA rankings, what their defending score is, what their midfield score is. Again, that's according to the FIFA rankings, like EA Sports FIFA rankings. What else? Their offensive score, goalkeeper, etc. Using that to predict our output, which would be whether or not they won. So that's a column here. We're trying to predict home team result, right? I clicked on the wrong one there, but we're trying to predict home team result. Where is that? Right here. So using all this other stuff here, or some of it, we're going to try and get the model to predict that. And we do it by feeding in the model the whole thing with this stuff included. So it's like, okay, if the home team has a rank of 22 and the away team has a rank of 14, maybe I'll predict this. And then I can cross-check it against the actual answer. So then when we feed it those inputs without having an actual home team result, right? Because these games in the World Cup haven't happened yet, so there's no home team result column. It'll make a guess based on all these other games if it's a win, a draw, or a loss for whichever team's listed as the home team. Okay. Now we're just going to do some visualization to get an understanding of the teams. So we're going to plot the 4 teams and how their FIFA ranking. This is not the EA Sports FIFA ranking. This is the FIFA, the actual federation, how they rank the international teams and how it's changed since 1993. So we can see, let's see, US is in like this teal color. So they, in 93, were like 23rd, 24th. They went up as high as, I don't know, that's maybe like 10 or so. They've never really dropped below, what is this, like 35, 40, I don't know. They've really never dropped much below 30, it looks like. And recently they had another spike where they got up in the 10. This is, I believe, is when they were 10. And now I think they're about 16 right there. And then England, I think, is number 5. So they're very highly ranked. And Wales, I believe, right now is 19. Iran is 20, so they're close. So all pretty similar rankings now. But it's interesting to see, Wales for a long time was very, very bad, in the 120s. And, I think there's like 300 countries listed or 300 countries with the national team, something like that. So for context. All right, now that we've done that, we can get into our actual modeling. So we're going to filter data again, so we're just getting the World Cup games. That's all we're going to use for the training data is just games. Actually, no, I misspoke. Sorry, this comment is wrong. So we're filtering the data to just the inputs that we think are important. So this is the information that we want our model to predict based off of. So we're giving them who the home team is, who the away team is, the ranking of each team, and then all the goalkeeper, defense scores, offense scores, blah, blah, blah. The reason we do that is because we don't really think I don't think the date is too important. The continent of the away team is not really important. That's already encoded in the country. How many total FIFA points? That's like also kind of part of the FIFA ranking. That's what determines it. Score is obviously encoded in the win pretty much. The city in which it was played, don't think that's important to determining the win really. So we're just kind of filtering those out because that's not important. Our model doesn't need to know that. That's the point of this. So again, we're not just using games from the World Cup. I misspoke there. So I'm going to change this comment to filter data to just important columns. Okay, so we did that. And then we're fixing, so that column I showed you, home team result. Let's see where that thing is. Win, draw, lose. So the model that we're using is a linear regression model, can only predict like numerics. So if we give it this is, string data, we're going to have to convert this to, zeros and ones so that our model can actually handle it. So unfortunately, there's 3 different results that can happen. So 0 and 1 wouldn't work. So what we're going to do is encode win as 1, lose as 0, and then draw as 0.5. And that will be like, when you average those out, that'll get like the probability of them winning. So 1 would be 100% chance of winning. 0 would be 0% chance of winning or losing. So that's what this code does. It's just converting the string to the numeric so that our model can handle it pretty much. Then we're training our model. It's really simple. This stands for I believe generic linear model. So you guys all know like y equals mx plus b. That's pretty much the same thing, except we're working with multiple variables, and each variable is going to have its own weight associated. Weight pretty much is how important it is to getting the correct output. So we will train this model, and then we're going to test it. So before that, I have some testing data. It's in this data file. We are going to run this, and that'll give us our testing data. And then to get the predictions, we're going to use this predict function. So we're going to predict, and then mod is the name of the model that we trained up here. And this is the testing data, which we just read in. So we'll run that. Now we have our predictions, but if we want to visualize them, we'll combine our predictions, which again is that home team result. We'll combine it with our testing data, which doesn't have the home team result. So we can see all the input and then the projected output. Again, this isn't actually what's happening. This is what the model thinks is going to happen for these games that are in the future. So we'll merge that, and then we'll show it. So let's see. It's a little bit funky how it formats. But if it's better, we can look at it here. World Cup testing data. Okay, so for first game, we have England versus Iran. So England is a home team. So these are all the inputs. Home team rank, goalkeeper score, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're interested in. So prediction, this is pretty much home team result. So the model projects a 61% chance of England beating Iran based on our however many parameters we have. I believe I think 10. Based on our 10 parameters, our model projects England to have a 61% chance of winning. And then for the next game, U.S. versus Wales, our model predicts the U.S. Having a 72.5% chance of beating Wales. Again, this is based off of the home team rank, away team rank, all these offensive scores, and then all that data from past games that we trained the model in. So all the times U.S. has played Wales, that's factored in the model. All the time England's played Iran, that's factored in the model. And that's through all that, it's getting this probability. So these are interesting, and these hopefully we can use to make predictions on our bracket, which the link is also in here. So if you want to join the bracket challenge, you can double click here and make your selections, and maybe these will help you out. So that's all for this workshop. I hope you enjoyed. One more thing, I forgot to include any World Series data for last week. We worked on NBA, like the sentiment analysis. I definitely should have included some World Series data because it was obviously right around World Series time. So I've included some World Series data sets that are pretty cool. These are World Series batting statistics for the 9 main hitters for each team, some more advanced batting statistics, and then also pitching statistics for each team, which I thought were pretty cool. I was going to include this in this analysis, but I kind of ran out of time, so I just did the World Cup stuff. But this we can look at in the meeting, and you all are obviously welcome to do whatever you'd like with this because I think these are some pretty good data sets. So that's it. Thanks for listening, and enjoy.